What we have here is a failure to drain. Now this area, I've just swept it up and cleaned it, but it's not draining, and this pool becomes the width of the alley when it rains hard. So I've talked to the owner of the front of this building and got his okay to clean out the front where this drain is supposed to be working. The only thing that's happened really is that it's just full of soil. So all I'm doing is using a hose and a broom to, and there's some solids in there too, like plants, big leaves, and there's some plants growing in the channel. Luckily, it's just held together with plastic lumber. I mean, the deck, that is. It's just one big long piece of plastic lumber. Very easy to take out, and just plants. So what I'll do is I'm just going to clean the first maybe 3 planks out and make sure it drains correctly, and then we should have no problem with flooding. There's enough grade on the slope, it's just that there's so much soil in the drain that it's preventing the drain from doing its thing. I figured I'd just give you a quick view of what I'm up to. I'm just using a regular old outdoor broom and a hose and a little bit of persistence to move all this soil. And that should be done in less than I think an hour, about an hour's work. And then we're not going to have this pooling water problem, which would be great because we have to walk through it every time it rains, or every time people who live here water their plants, which is frequently because they're pretty plants and they need a lot of water. So what ends up happening is the water slides over the edge here, down into here, and stays there. But no longer, because I'm going to fix this drain. That's it. See it happen. 3, 2, 1. Well, here's a look at all of the debris that came out of there. I blew it uphill. I would recommend that you do that. If you're going to clear a drain, don't fall prey to the temptation to blow all that dirt into the drain. You're just going to transfer the problem from one place to another. The real way to solve this is to blow all of the solids uphill and let the water run downhill. That'll help to prevent further clogging. And then you dig out the big collection of uphill stuff, which is what I've got here. Looks like mostly sand and other solids. Plant materials can really block up a drain, and that's basically what's happened here. So we've got a pretty good runway. It's about 1 foot wide. Water seems to be draining quite nicely down this runway. And if you look at the end, we've got a fairly substantial storm drain. It was covered with bricks before. I'll put them back, but the storm drain shouldn't really be covered by bricks as much as this one was. So we'll just fix that a little bit. But the water seems to be draining okay now, so people don't have to walk through a puddle every time there's a bit of a rainstorm. At least it'll drain off somewhat, and we'll be able to have it dry quickly. It was standing water for several hours before, but no longer. Pretty pleased that this is working out the way it's worked out, and a little more cleaning and I'll be done. Well, it's been about a month since I did this renovation on this patio, and as you can see, there's no water. What happens in this little area is that leaves tend to blow in from the trees, and I suppose the wind pattern is such that it creates this little area here where the leaves tend to collect, and then over time they block well, they do 2 things. They block the drain physically, and then they break down and create like sand or soil. So what I have to do, I guess, seeing as it's been about a month since I did any work here, is come back with my broom and just sweep out the little As you can see, the prevailing wind is coming in from this direction. So everything tends to get blown down in this direction and end up catching here. So as you can see, this problem is going to reoccur if periodic maintenance isn't performed, because the wind tends to blow in this direction, which means it'll push all the leaves into this corner and this corner. So what I'll do is I'll just go get my broom and sweep out that area so as to make sure it doesn't block up again, and then the whole area will be fine. As for everything else, it seems to have held up great. The boards aren't displaced and the plants are growing. Some of the bricks have been put back, but we don't seem to have any drainage issues here. There's quite a large pool capability underneath this patio. Probably take a few gallons of water under there before it tends to spill back in this direction. So I think we can probably call this a completed project. I didn't really film the time lapse of me cleaning up under here, which is a bit of a shame because it was a rather more complicated effort than I had originally foreseen. It took 2 or 3 hours to do this, but in the end it worked out fine, and I'm pretty happy with the results. So I guess I should say that's it for now. So long, take care, and keep making. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please consider subscribing, giving me a like, and leaving me a comment. I really enjoy making these videos, and I want to know from you how I can make them better. The whole point of these videos is to demonstrate that if I can do something, you can do it too. Well, that's it for now. So long, and remember, keep making.